So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday Namaste session. So I have a confession I want to make this morning. I fell into a trap last night here in my anchor hold. I fell into a trap that I had a hard time getting out of, and I thought I would just begin by mentioning this because this trap ended up keeping me up very late, doing something I would normally not do. That I don't know if it really serves my anchor hold experience or the fire that I want to just keep fanning inside myself. The trap that I fell into was dog and baby YouTube videos. I don't know if any of you have ever fallen into that trap, but once you get in, you can't get out. They get cuter and cuter as they go, and every one of them just makes you want to watch the next. And before you know it, an hour or more has passed, and all you've done is watched German shepherds kissing and loving little babies, or dachshunds running around children joyously expressing themselves. And I just thought I would begin this morning by mentioning this trap that I found myself engulfed by. And it made me very happy. It made me feel very joyful. So I picked up my Quattro, my Venezuelan Quattro, and I thought, okay, well, maybe the least I could do, since I've wasted so much time watching these dog and baby videos on YouTube, maybe I could at least write a song before I go to sleep. So that's what I did. I haven't prepared anything for this morning. Not that I really ever prepare anything, really, but I thought maybe I would just let this launch us. I've been doing this wonderful St. Francis 7-week course. Maybe some of you have been taking that. And today we have our week 4, and it's all about the fire that is burning inside of us. The fire that needs to be fanned, to be turned into a great and mighty flame. And that's what this song is, and I guess in some ways that's what it was last night, watching these dog and baby videos. So we'll start with this little meditation. There is a fire burning deep within my heart. I can't explain, but it's all I know. You have inspired me to start to light this holy flame. You'll find there's nowhere left for me to go. For the fire you feel now, deep within your heart, is burning out of control. And the world you see would not tear us apart, for I am with you, deep within your soul. Oops. Deep within your soul. The fire is so strong, I've been waiting so long for you to take me as your own. The fire burns so bright, and the room fills with light. I will follow you home, for the fire is so strong. I've waited so long for you to take me me as your own. Oh, the fire burns so bright, and the room fills with light. I will follow you home. For home is the only place I can rest now. I can rest now, where I belong. All I ask, beloved, is that you show me how. For I've been waiting here so long, waiting here so long. For the fire is so strong, I've waited so long for you to take me as your own. And the fire burns so bright, the room fills with light. I will follow you home. Yes, I will follow you home. I will follow you home. Follow you home. So that's what happens when I watch too many dog and baby videos on YouTube late at night. But I guess that's all that really needs to happen. We don't need to have prepared long dissertations, intellectual treaties. What we need is just to keep our heart open. And if keeping our heart open means watching dog and baby videos till 1 a.m. because you can't stop, that's okay. If that's what fans that flame and lets those coals jump to life, I'm fine with that. I probably shouldn't do it every night because I do need to get to bed a little bit earlier than that. But, you know, it's the fire. It really is the fire. I'm just so impassioned and excited by that fire that we all feel burning within us. And all I can say, and the only thing there's left to share, is follow that. Follow that fire. Rest in that fire. Let that heat overtake you. You know, over the last few weeks, we've had so many terrible, destructive fires, especially on the west coast of the U.S., burning out of control. But when this fire burns out of control, it changes our lives completely, but in a way that allows us to be passionate about love and life and grace and giving and expressing. And that's why we come here every day, is to feel the heat of that fire through each other. I'll share, Vicki will share, we'll all share, but really it just comes down to sharing the heat in that flame. So, Vicki, I'm going to turn it over to you and see where you want to go with that. I don't know if you've ever been sucked into these dog and baby videos. I warn you, they are contagious. You won't be able to stop if you start.
Well, Jimmy, I think that's the best thing that could have happened. And I think it's great you were up till 1 a.m. playing. I think that, underneath it is that fire flaming itself, and you needed to play. I keep thinking, am I missing something? Did something miserable happen? Did I miss a sentence? But you're just telling me you stayed up and played. I think that's great. And it has to bring up the joy and the sweetness and the sentimentality of your own life with your own dogs who have come and gone, and your own children and grandchildren. And, you know, if the fire initially is purification, then follow the fire. Follow the fire. And if it bursts into a sunburst of playfulness, I think celebrate it. I'd still be up. It's like, so what? If you need, maybe you won't need to sleep. Maybe because restfulness doesn't come from sleep.
That's
It
right.
comes from not judging. So, and I think of that a lot because I will have things that will keep me up. I'll catch on, say, on TV or on a YouTube thing, and it takes my heart away, or it brings up a sadness. And you know, the original Desert Fathers, one of the reasons they went into the desert, you know, as Richard Rohr says, partly to get away from the established church
That's right.
so that they could keep the mystical tradition intact, but also it was to cry out in the night. It was not to bother their other brothers and sisters in a monastic setting with screams of hurt or fear or rage. In the Desert Fathers could go, follow the fire literally into the depths of their soul, to their aloneness, to their hurt, to their rage, to whatever purification they were being led to, as well as to their ecstasy and their dancing and their bliss. So what? It takes all the forms, but some by fire, some by water. And if purification happens by the grace of playfulness and joy, Jesus says death and sorrow are not the only ways. That is not the only path, although many seem to have chosen it for some crazy reason. But we're choosing a way of joy and grace, and that's a witness to it. So I'm doing great. I'm going to go look at those videos.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, they're pretty seductive. They're pretty beautiful. And I guess if you're going to be pulled into something beautiful that keeps you up till the wee hours, that's a good way to do it. Because I have to admit also that the night before, I had a hard time falling asleep because there was something just going through my mind that, you know, it starts to spin. You're thinking about something that is not what you described. And it was the whole political situation that's like, oh, why am I thinking about this? Stop, get that out of your mind. So I think that baby and dog videos are definitely a step in the right direction.
You know, and grateful, gratitude that you can laugh and play. If this is the time of joy, what better way to enter it than through playfulness and joy, not by avoiding anything. And it may bring up later tonight, tomorrow, some other sadness that's still lurking behind some hidden corner of thought. Who knows? Who cares? Follow the fire
Exactly.
wherever it goes, right? That's all we
I
have to
think
do.
that's really the point. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what direction it takes you. Just follow the fire. The fire, if you had a torch and you were walking late at night down a path, that torch would give you enough light so that you can see where to go. Just follow where that torch leads you. Trust that there's someone holding that torch up ahead of you that knows where to go. You don't have to know the path. You just need to trust that that one does, and that that fire is enough to keep that illumined. And you'll know that you're being guided to the home that you never really left. And there's a passion to that, and there's a brightness to that. And that's what this is really all about. The passion that we feel beginning to just explode inside of us. And I'm so glad that you mentioned the Desert Fathers and the Desert Mothers, because you're right. It was just all about that fire. They realized that now that this Christian expression is the official church, no, we're no longer having to hide in the catacombs. We're no longer being isolated or persecuted. Now we're official. We're the official church of the Roman Empire. That was the beginning of the end, 1700 years ago, of the true authentic experience, the true authentic fire. And so these mothers and fathers that went into the desert to simply seek that and to let it burn bright in a way that they knew they couldn't within the establishment. And many of us are being called in the same way. I know people who move to a place like Mexico or elsewhere around the world. It's a similar thing. They're being called away from the comfort or the familiarity of their life, their country, everything that they knew before, in order to seek something that's deeper. I hear my family here talk about that all the time. They came here because they were at a stage of their life when they were desiring something deeper, just as the Desert Fathers and Mothers left to go into the desert. now here we are going into a desert, but it's not a desert that is void of life. It's a desert that is filled with life and filled with love and light and grace. So if you're feeling that and you want to be engulfed by that same fire, I suggest just putting on YouTube today and watching some dog and baby videos. It'll
And
spark it.
it will spark it. And what a happy way to spark it. Whatever we can do to stay in that pitch of joy, because it's the pitch of joy that communicates. It's that pitch of joy that is experiential. And joy does not come from the split and sadness and death and hating ourselves. Joy comes from that Christ of our own being. It leaks out wherever we can find it. So let it come out and celebrate it. And if we find ourselves in the middle of the establishment, and most of us do live in the midst of it, we have a choice. We can look with wonder at what's going on, or we can look with heavy judgment and like forlorn misery. But look with wonder, like if you haven't got a clue. And I mean, it's hard to think we would know what's happening and how it would work best. It's not hard to realize I haven't got a clue. And this is the realignment, a vision realignment of what purpose and goal that we share is. And that purpose is the resurrection of the divine in us, the reemergence of only that identity. When that's our goal, then what seems to happen in the play, it's like you don't have to know about it. You just look with wonder, like a kid does. A kid wouldn't judge it. They would say, I don't know what it means. You just look with wonder. And then we bring the wonder and the joy and the open-heartedness, the open-mindedness, open-heartedness to the consciousness, to the collective consciousness. That's our function here. And as we bring it, we are it, and we give it, we communicate to the whole sonship that life is true, life is real, life is love. And we are part of that. And what we're looking at are pictures that we don't yet understand. But that thread of love is intact. That thread of love is our whole being. And when we radiate that, we're sounding the bell, we're ringing the thing, the clarinet, the whole, whatever it is. And happy Yom Kippur. I think it's a big Jewish holiday, right?
Yeah, I think
Yesterday
so.
or today is the time.
Yesterday, maybe? I think maybe
Yom
yesterday.
Kippur.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's how they said it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Oh,
anyway, thanks, Jimmy.
thank
Follow
you.
the fire, honey. Follow the fire.
Follow the fire. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. That's my next song.
Yeah.
Follow the fire. That's the whole thing, isn't it? Just keep following that fire and watch as many dog and baby videos as you can find.